Convened in 2014, the Lake Region Economic Bloc, or LREB, is a beacon of hope for the communities surrounding Lake Victoria. By leveraging the region's economies of scale, LREB aims to transform the socio-economic landscape through sustainable utilization of shared resources. Strategically located, LREB encompasses counties within the Lake Victoria Basin, including Bomet, Bungoma, Busia, Homa Bay, Kakamega, Kericho, Kisii, Kisumu, Migori, Nandi, Nyamira, Siaya, Trans Nzoia and Vihiga. Together, these regions are rich in agriculture, producing some of the finest tea, sugar, maize, bananas, milk, cassava, coffee, edible oil crops, among others. Fishing industry is also core to the livelihood of its people.
The block is different. Some parts are dry, but majority of our block are food-producing counties. As you are aware that it is the largest block in the country with a population of about 14 to 15 million. And when you look at the block, the truth of the matter is that it is where you have sugar. I doubt there's anybody in this country who does not take tea. Majority take tea with sugar. And therefore you can as well ask yourself, where does tea come from? From this block. Sugar comes from this block. Milk, apart from Central Province, milk comes from this block. Bomet is the highest producer of milk. So we are saying that we have huge potential in the block. We can actually not just feed the Republic of Kenya, but we can actually feed the entire East African region. Yet, despite these achievements, the agricultural sector faces significant threats from climate change. Altered weather patterns impact crop planting decisions and strain livestock farmers due to dwindling pastures. Massive flooding in counties bordering Lake Victoria has devastated crops and left families facing hunger. The fishing industry too has suffered, with fish farmers incurring substantial losses.
Niko na cages 4 na zote zilikuwa na samaki. Hii samaki ilifaa kuwa harvested kuanzia next month hadi December. So you will realize that nimepoteza market because tulikuwa tuna target market ya December na November.
There are effects of floods that we've experienced much more than before. Excessive temperatures much more than before. We also have prolonged droughts much more than before. We have floods that are unpredictable much more than before. So all these effects are in one way or another affecting the lives and livelihoods of our people. Because when we have excessive floods, crops are destroyed, lives are lost, infrastructure are actually destroyed, which means we have to put in place other measures and finance for construction of destroyed infrastructure beyond the issue of food being swept away or being destroyed or destruction of our biodiversity because of this effect of climate change.
In response, this year, LREB adopted the theme Food Security in the Face of Climate Change, Building Partnerships Towards Resilience Among Communities. The leadership recognizes the urgent need for robust interventions to ensure food security.
At the moment, Kisii County has a policy on how to deal with the issues of food security in these times of climate change. In the policy that we have come up with, we are talking of the post-harvest handling of the foodstuffs from the farms, as well. If you talk of groundnuts, now we are talking about maize, because that's our stable food, especially in that region. If you check that region, all of it, in the LREB region, is our common staple food is maize, as it were. Yeah.
LREB is partnering with various stakeholders to enhance food security amidst climate challenges. This includes adopting government-supported agricultural techniques, investing in research, and diversifying economic structures.
We are convinced as LREB of the negative impacts of climate change on food security and the need to stand together as LREB member counties and join hands with the national government alongside other development partners in championing the Bloc's economic development agenda. We have resolved to forge partnerships toward resilience among communities within the Lake region to address food security challenges in the face of climate change. We have agreed to strengthen the institutional framework for blue economy initiatives across the Bloc through enhanced collaboration to avert the negative impacts of climate change on livelihoods around inland water bodies. In that regard, as counties, we have proposed that member counties align their integrated development plans with priorities of LREB Climate Action Plan to address food security challenges and promote smart nutrition-sensitive agriculture by encouraging diversification of consumption practices.
Governments, investors and consumers are demanding more sustainable practices in global food systems, and our agricultural systems have to respond. And just like you in the Lake region, Australia is feeling the effects of climate change and seeing impacts on our cities and towns, our agricultural industries, our infrastructure and our people. Our unique ecosystems and wildlife are increasingly vulnerable. The Australian government's also working to reduce emissions in agriculture and land use. We're supporting policies and programs that improve greenhouse gas accounting, foster on-the-ground action and drive long-term research in this sector.
What that means is we must concentrate on resilience. We've got to future-proof the economies of the Lake region. We've got to invest in climate-smart agriculture. We've got to invest in climate-smart infrastructure so that the brand new highways that are enabling Kenya's development don't get washed away in the next torrential rains, so that the harvests that will drive the agriculture that can be the bedrock of that trade that we're talking about isn't dependent on the fickleness of an ever-changing climate. I think you've made great strides already in promoting that kind of resilience in agriculture, in infrastructure, in industry, and in many other areas. But I would exhort you to do more. We need the leadership of the counties, and we in the United Nations will be honoured to bring you our technical and financial assistance where and when we can.
By harnessing heavy rains and backflows from Lake Victoria, LREB aims to transform challenges into opportunities with investments in irrigation projects like the Lower Nzoia Irrigation Development Project to boost agricultural productivity. Managing post-harvest losses is critical.
The theme that has brought us here, that we are able to mitigate against the climate change that is ravaging the entire region. When you talk about fish and water and the lake, this is the block that sits on the lake that is the largest lake in Africa. And well utilized, with that lake is enough to make us feed the entire block and the entire region. In terms of activities within the lake, we can enhance the lake to be a tool to galvanize the entire region in terms of water transport. And transport is not just human transport, but transport in terms of oil movement of goods within the three countries. So really, we have the potential.
LREB's commitment to county aggregation and establishing industrial parks in Busia, Homa Bay, Migori, Nandi, Nyamira, Bungoma and Siaya will enhance the value chain, reducing waste and improving livelihoods. Adopting renewable energy solutions such as solarization, will lower production cost and help stabilize food prices. To ensure sustainability in the fishing sector, comprehensive research is needed to address the seasonal loss of oxygen in lake waters. Promoting fish caging is essential for the blue economy.
A population of 300 million people, if you look at it, it's one of the most potential area within the African continent. Secondly, we have got very good climatic condition, whereby it means in terms of food industry, we can be able to support that. Kenya is earmarked to be able to produce edible oil crops. We are ready to be producing cotton, and this is one of the most potential areas in terms of production of those kind of products. As you are aware, Kenya spends a lot of money in importing some of this. So within the Lake Region Economic Bloc and Busia in particular, we can be able to mitigate on those areas. So those are investment opportunities, especially the export processing zone, which we are putting up in Nasewa, the industrial park also, which we are putting up in Nasewa.
The recent signing of the sugar bill by President William Ruto marks a significant step towards sustainable utilization of resources. Through the Lake Victoria Blue Economy Multi-Agency Action Plan, LREB collaborates with county governments, national agencies and development partners for coordinated and sustainable resource management. Collaboration with Kenya Maritime Authority (KMA) and with support from the British High Commission's Foreign and Commonwealth Development Organization (FCDO) and Gatsby Africa, which has established the Lake Victoria Blue Economy Multi-Agency Action Plan (LREB BMAP) in response to the sustainable utilization of the blue economy resources. The bloc is a celebrated milestone.
I've got one of the most potential areas in the blue economy. Lake Victoria is just part of us here, and it's just a mile away from, again, Uganda, Tanzania, and so many other places. So there's quite a bit of, again, investment opportunities in the blue economy, which is one of the fastest growing sector in terms of potential to offer employment and even to also get good returns and contribute to food security.
As LREB's partners with like-minded institutions to build community resilience, a holistic approach is essential. By leveraging agriculture as a cornerstone for economic stability and nutritional value, LREB aims to forge synergies and extend beyond Kenya.
First, people must be made aware about climate change and its risks. Secondly, people might be made aware that the manner in which we have produced food traditionally may not be viable today. Thirdly, with increase in population, coupled with climate change, coupled with difficulties in producing food production as we did before, we must learn to produce food in a smaller space than we did before. Large gardens sometimes are not available to people today because of population growth. So unit production of food, for example, corn gardening, for example, household gardening, a small space but producing more food than before. Therefore, the intensive use of space, using fertilizers, safe fertilizers, of course, making sure that you don't use too much water, requires a change of mind of our people.
We are building resilience amongst our people. What do we do so that we practice agriculture in a way that is friendly to the environment? We practice agriculture in a way that we don't destroy our biodiversity. What do we do so that we minimize on the effect of climate change? That is part of our preparation. We have a strategy of reaching out to the community, teaching them, and even encouraging them to use local innovations. We don't have to adopt what is being used by other countries. We learn from within ourselves, amongst ourselves, the traditional ways that we've been practicing for ages.
Our vision as a region is something that we must sit, and out of this summit, we must come up with a proper mechanism on how we can be able to get the food which is there, other regions don't produce, we can give them out. technology that we can be able to come up with from our region or the bloc, so that we can be able to benefit other blocks. And I want to, at this point, the most active bloc, economic bloc, is the Lake Region Economic Bloc.
The future of the Lake Region Economic Bloc is bright as it commits to allocating at least 10% of budgets to support agriculture, ensuring that its communities thrive amidst the challenges of climate change. Together, we can cultivate resilience.